We're trenching today. Water line is coming in. It's happening. We're getting city water. We're gonna have city water, plus we're going to have rainwater collection. This is the first step, tying in. Chris is out here running the little guy. We could have used the excavator, but the trench that thing would have had to dig is 18 inches, and I didn't want to have that big of a sinkhole all the way down my driveway. So we're gonna go all the way down, hit the RV up first, and then start heading towards the house. Chris is gonna go to the bottom of the hill so the dirt actually gets pushed over the other side so that we can come back and fill it easy. It's gonna work on that. Trenching is a success, at least to the trailer and down to the creek. Not that much in, but we had some cave-ins along the way. So I've got to excavate out by hand this dirt. That way we can hit or shoot it for a 2-foot. All the way up to the top. Should be interesting. All I have is a piece 2x4 and an excavator. Let's get her done. Alright, let's get this spool onto the excavator so that it'll unspool. What direction does it need to be? issue in the way. So what we're going to do is we're going to bury it over here and hope it works. Cross your fingers. Oh, it works. Otherwise, there's a thing 400 feet. Dig some more out over here. Sorry about the generator noise, but I got a little overzealous and I kind of buried it when I didn't have enough in the hole to connect the next piece. My boot barely fits. I will hand dig out later. I'm gonna get this in the ground. Alright, let's unspool this thing and see what it does. Got it, you know. Yeah, at least the tail's still sitting there. We've got it in the hole. Awesome, awesome. All right, we got to start straightening this thing out, getting it completely in the hole. I've got this corner right here. That way I don't over unspool, I guess. It's 500 feet, but it says 65 foot right here, which sounds about right. We're gonna go ahead and get this pushed in where we want it and get it compacted down. I'm still gonna put some tape on here that tells you buried water line, because God knows I am gonna be the one to come excavate this at another point in time and go right through the water line. So I'll put the locator tape in it. Not that I'll ever pay a locator to find it, but I'll have it. All right, the struggle bus is real. I'm gonna go grab my roller, and I did start from 0 there, so I'm gonna roll from over there and roll all the way up so I can just cut it off where I don't need it, and then I can start to unravel it from that end. Hopefully that'll work to help alleviate the popping up of the hose. Might be easier if I had somebody else with too. Chris had to go for the day, so it's just me. But I want to get this done. I want to get this water in today. Maybe. Because I don't have any 1-inch plugs, so I can't even stop the water. It just flow through. So I don't think I'm going to be able to do that today either. So I'm just going to do it if I can. I didn't show you the other part. Struggle bus. I can tell you this. I will be building an unspooler the next time I have to run this 400 feet along. Watch this. I've got to do it. Stretch. I've got to get to the meter. Man, this was a pond, so Chris drained it and dug a big giant hole behind us. I'll show you in a second. But it was real soggy, nasty. Kept caving in, so we just had to dig it out. But I've got to get this fitting on there so I can connect. This is a 3/4 valve, and I'm putting 1-inch line so that I can increase my pressure when I decrease my pressure down there to 1/2 inch. We'll see how that works out, because it's a 1-inch main, I think, maybe a 2 to 1. And then here's our buried tape. We're going to put this on top, 6 inches to 12 inches. Just a precautionary measure. But I think I got the wrong fitting. Maybe. Ugh. Oh, so the meter's been leaking. At least that's what it looks like. Looks like we're not going to need this adapter. We should be able to screw just one on. But we got constant water flow coming from the water line. We're going to have to come out here and fix it. Perfect, so that screws right on. I'm going to dig this box out so we can get in here and attach this hose to it. And I got to put my putty on it. But if they got to come in here and mess around with the meter, I'm gonna connect my water because I want water. Yeah, because it was a brand new meter when they put it in. Not so much anymore. Let me go grab the shovel. All right, I just walked all the way back up to home base to get what I needed. Oof. All right, we're gonna cut this and waste a bunch. But it's better than not having enough, right? So with this, I do have some slack down there in that big hole. So I'm gonna pull that taut, get what I need here. And I know I can always push it down in that hole. I'm gonna figure out where I need to cut it so I can get it to attach with the least amount of effort. Because, I still have to hold on to it. I don't want to be all muddy, which I'm already getting there. But I think that looks to be good right there. We're gonna go with that. Fingers crossed. And we are going to put 2 ends on it. We're going to put those on when we get under. That box ain't moving. I don't want to stick my foot in the mud. I like mud. Probably when I was a little kid I liked mud, and then I probably got pushed down in the mud by my older brothers. That made me quit liking mud. It's gonna be fun. Hey, at least it's pointing up, right? Not down. This is probably like the mud that you get in those mud baths. I assume. Never had one of them. Boys and girls, we're gonna get muddy. No other way to do it. All right. Come on. Ugh. Now my hose is all muddy. It's like right there, and now I stepped on it and I can't move it. Maybe I should have dug up some more mud. Maybe I'm gonna get the excavator and dig up this mud. I think so. And get myself a rag. This is when I wish I had a spotter. You guys spot me, okay? Thanks for spotting me, guys. That really worked. Helped out a lot. Alright, let me get this on it. I guess I'll struggle with the one clamp first. I don't think this is going to work because that's for the PEX tool. I don't have PEX. I have chintzy. So I imagine by the time I get back, it's going to be full. Because it's already filled. So I need to get fittings that fit. I guess that's it for tonight. We're gonna finish burying. Get this later. Leave this all open though. Bucket. I have a nice scar from doing that. Bad habit. Try not to. I tend to forget, I guess. Alright, we got our tape in. We got our blue tape. We're all here buried below. 6 to 12 inch shit. Now this stuff's pretty cheap. It's only like 29 bucks for 1,000 foot roll. I mean, why not? A little extra step that later on you're gonna thank yourself for. Someone else might thank you for doing it more than them. Get it backfilled. Alrighty. That's gonna wrap up that first little section. I've got to run to get some parts to finish this thing off. One being I'm gonna put a water box here now because I had to cut it because I struggled with the water line. But I plan on putting a water one up here. I just didn't think I was gonna do it right now. I was gonna cut it in later. May as well just dig it out, put it in, and be done with it, right? Make it easy peasy. So I'm actually gonna dig that real quick since I got the excavator sitting right here. And then that way, well, I can't backfill the rest. Yeah, I'll just do that I'll do that tomorrow. I'll do that tomorrow. We'll do that. We'll catch it. We'll catch that tomorrow. I'm hungry and tired. All right, that'll work. Oh, talk about tiring. It's actually hard work just putting that tape in the ground. But we're all the way down to the RV. Nice, now time to backfill it.
rich enough to buy them fancy gadgets.
Yeah, they're expensive as fuck. All right, folks, here we are. We are up to the house with the water line. Bringing it around real slow so I don't hit the house. There we are. Oh yeah, they just finished the vinyl too. Almost there. Once I got to here, I gotta get this little last bit done. I'm gonna turn you off now. I had to dig the pipe out of the dirt. Right down there. It was pretty, yeah, it was a pain. But we are here. I just need to backfill this stuff now. This stuff is heavy, mucky, nasty, and it stinks. So I'm gonna fire this up and backfill.